Weaponized podcast, he said that we live in a simulation, that we were left behind.
It's funny because I went on YouTube Live, I think about a week ago, about a week and a half, a week ago, and we were indeed left behind. We were the left behind ones. So after the Great Flood, after the Great Flood, everyone did not die during the Great Flood. And all of the ones that was kept alive, they were the ones that was left behind. And we are the descendants of that. Just like with this second coming of Christ, with this next reset that we are about to have coming up. When we go through this great earthquake, when we go through this great energy shift, it's going to be a lot of people that is not going to be touched. They may be a little hurt or damaged, but it's going to be a lot of people that is not going to be as affected after the second coming of Christ's return. So they are going to be the left behind ones. So before the great reset, the first time, before the great flood, there were the Nephilims, there was the Anunnakis, there were the angels, there was the human being, there was even superhuman beings, and there was the original mammals that was on earth. So when the great flood happened, all of the beings that was left, a lot of them became slaves themselves, and a lot of them was held captive in prison, and some of them became petrified. So these are all the beings that was left behind. And the ones that died during the great flood, those are the ones that transitioned over to their original homes, and they went back to their original soul family, or they went back to source. So the fact that we are the left behind ones, let me explain deeply what I'm about to say. The fact that we are reincarnated beings, a lot of us is still descendants of the original flood. That means we were actually there. Because just because we don't remember, it doesn't mean that we wasn't there. Because remember, your soul and your spirit only transition in different bodies for a new experience. Our soul could have been in one of those bodies that was actually there before the flood. So we actually witnessed the flood. We know why the flood happened. We know exactly what went down before the great flood even happened, because our soul and our spirit remembers. We don't remember because we are now living in different bodies, living in different experience, and they make us forget every time when we get into a new body. But the fact that we are left behind, that means that we were still alive. Our soul and our spirit is still on earth. So we were the ones that was left behind during the first reset. Now with this second reset that is about to hit this earth, which can be any moment. It can be in 2026, 2027, 2028, or 29, or 2030. Because we are basically living in grace time period. That means that the second coming of Christ, the great earthquake, the great reset can happen at any given moment. Now, when we go through the second coming of Christ, when we go through this great reset, it is going to reset our minds, where it is going to wake a lot of us up. And our soul and our spirit is 100% going to activate, where it will be in the forefront of our lives. Because right now, we are energy, we are spirit, we are soul living a human experience. And right now, our soul and our spirit, it leads. But the fact that we are living in a human body, which is dumb, a lot of us go along with the ego. We go along with the body instead of going along with our inner self. Now, once this great reset happens, once the second coming of Christ happens, a lot of us is going to be completely led by our spirit and by our soul, where the body will no longer be in control. The body going to be dead, and the soul is going to fully activate and work through the body. And because of that, we are going to remember that we was there before the great flood. We're going to remember what happened. We're going to remember who we are. We're going to remember who did it. We're going to remember all things because Christ has completely activated in our bodies. This is the whole purpose of the second coming of Christ, because we are actually going to remember who we are. Because remember, Christ knows all things, and your soul and your spirit is in the image of Christ. Christ means the all-knowing, the Alpha, the Omega. It means life. It means the truth. So when the second coming of Christ come back on earth, a lot of the children of the Son, a lot of the chosen children of Christ are going to get activated. Their energies is going to be restored. Their powers is going to be restored. The frequency is going to be where it needs to be for their spirit and soul to completely activate, where they will become one with Christ again. They are going to know everything. And the one that is left behind after this great reset, they are not going to remember what happened. They're not going to remember how the great reset happened. Just like right now, we don't know. Like right now, we don't know about the first flood. We don't remember. We don't know because we were petrified. We were cursed not to know. And a lot of us, a lot of these souls, including mine, could have been there. But we were, when we reincarnate, we forget. So after this great reset, a lot of people is not going to remember what happened. But all of the ones that was picked, when this frequency comes, a lot of the ones that was picked to be touched by this energy to wake us up, to give us life again, we're going to remember what happened during the first reset. And we're going to remember what happened during the second reset, because we know all things and we are now activated in being who we really are. Meanwhile, the others is not going to still know anything. They're not going to remember the first reset. They're not going to remember this reset. They're still going to be zombie. They're still going to be deaf and dumb. So the term left behind, it seemed like a scary term. It really does. Because when you think about Christ coming and getting left behind, you think that you're in hell. But if you think about it, we are living in hell as we speak. We are really dwelling in hell. And we were left behind in hell. And if you look at life for what it is, life is not easy. So after the second reset, life is going to get even more harder, because hell has basically revealed itself for what it truly is. See, right now, after the first reset, we wasn't aware that we was in hell. Just because we are waking up to realize that we are in hell, it just didn't happen. We have always dwelled and lived in hell. We just now waking up to realize that we are truly indeed in hell. And hell is not what they told us that it was. You got a lot of people who think that hell was nothing but fire and flames, and you're going to be drowning in fire for eternity, and the devil is sitting in the corner laughing at you all red with his long horns, and hell was a dark, dense, smoky red place. That is not the way hell looks. Hell was actually a beautiful place. Look at where you at. Don't it look beautiful down here? You got some people that is willing to die to stay in hell, because hell is such a beautiful place. But what people don't realize is that the fact that they have tampered with our senses and they tampered with our vision, we don't see hell for what it truly is. Because if they lift the veil up from our eyes, we will actually see the true indeed hell. Right now, the veil is still down for a lot of us. So we only see the illusion. This is why we are living in a simulation. We are living in a dream. We are actually dead souls. Our souls is alive wandering the earth, but we are dead in the mind because we know nothing. And the reason why we know nothing and we don't see nothing and hear no evil, see no evil, is because we got the veil over us. That's just like you flying around the earth with a paper bag over your face. You don't see where you go, and you only flying all over the earth, but you have no idea where you going because you are wandering in a place of the unknown. And that's where we are. We are souls living a human experience, living in an unknown place where we really don't know who we are, where we are, why we are here. All we know is that we are human beings and we are just living.